listened to the words they were saying. They told us, watch the flowers or the birds in the trees. We all should have noticed our time was fast escaping and our world will soon be coming. No place for you and me. No place for you and me.
Police describe the fresh air ride at the seashore as normal. Several thousand persons drawn there by rumors of a freshening offshore wind were forcibly removed from the beaches. The Office of Rumor Control, according to police, had failed to control the spread of hopeful, faithful rumors.
I may be old-fashioned, dear, but I cannot see the virtue in trumpeting bad news across the radio waves.
Yes, it gets worse every day.
Who's that?
I'm not expecting anyone. Who is it?
It's Gordon.
Who?
Gordon, Mr. Clark, from the main gate.
What's the password after 0800?
America, America, God shed his grace on thee.
Isn't that lovely?
Is the green light on yet?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Mrs. Clark. I waited a couple of minutes extra, but it just clings to your clothes. Hey, that's great, Mrs. Clark. What is it?
Oh, Rose Bouquet. It's a new scent the systems control people put out last month.
I'll have to get the wife to order some. Tell you the truth, my kids are sick and tired of Pine Forest. They don't even know what it means.
How are things at the gate?
If I must say so myself, just fine, sir.
And the fences?
I increased the voltage.
Increased it?
Well, ma'am, we've had a 2.4 rise in loiterers this month. UP group malcontents?
And that's what you came to see me about? The voltage and the malcontents?
Oh, no, sir. I wouldn't bother you with that. I've got news, good news. Your son David called.
David? Are you sure? Are you sure it's my David?
Well, naturally, we took an audio print. He said he expects to arrive sometime this afternoon.
Do you hear, Edward? Edward David's coming home.
I can't believe it.
Not many of them are coming in, especially from unplanned areas.
I'd almost stopped praying.
Insight, stories of spiritual conflict in the 20th century.
When viewed from outer space, the Earth looks like a beautiful green globe floating in a great sea of darkness. And when we walk over the world's surface and see its mountains and skies and oceans and plains and deserts, that perception is only reinforced. The world reflects the beauty of its creator. God's love made the world to support and nourish man's body and to uplift and enliven his spirit. But now all this is threatened. Air pollution, water pollution, contamination in all its myriad forms. Not only is the world's beauty threatened, but its very ability to sustain man's life. All of us agree this must not be allowed to happen. But how? Who's going to prevent it? The government? Industry? The consumer? Or each one of us? The ecologists say it will be very expensive. Who's going to pay for it? What price are you willing to pay for a clean environment? This is an economic and political question, but basically it's a moral one. For God has given the earth to the whole human race, and its preservation and beauty is the responsibility of each one of us.
We never thought of tomorrow as the day after today.
Yes, Mr. Clark.
I noticed that the employee groups down in sub-level 10 are way behind in their medical checkups. Look into it, would you?
Yes, sir.
Once a month to the clinic, that's the rule. It's for their own good. Why don't they do it?
I'll speak to the supervisor today, sir.
Right. You won't have any of that rose bouquet left by the end of the week.
Oh, Edward, we're expecting visitors. This is no time to be stingy.
Just David. Don't get your hopes up. That's what Gordon said, David.
Why, he wouldn't come without the baby.
Amy. She must be hardly a baby by now. How old is she?
6. 6 empty, lonely years.
Well, it wasn't our fault. Send David in, will you, please? Thank you. Well, Mr. Martin, I've read your reports and your petitions. Tell me, these signatures, all genuine?
Mr. Clark, those signatures represent all living, breathing human beings. But how long they'll live and how long they'll breathe depends on how long White Star Oil continues belching its waste fumes across the valley.
No, Mr. Martin, there's no need for rhetoric between you and me. Why don't you save that for the public utilities hearings?
Rhetoric? A world choking itself to death and you say rhetoric?
Air pollution. Specifically that...
Well, hello, David.
How are you doing?
Just fine.
Good, good.
Old home week?
No. I've been to a few meetings at the Faircrest Development. That's where I met John.
Well, fine. I think the more that we know about both sides of a problem, the closer we are to its solution. So, what did you learn?
Well, there's only one thing to learn. It's getting tougher and tougher to breathe down there.
And Faircrest has a problem, but it is a community problem.
Faircrest breathes the air, Mr. Clark, but White Star pollutes it.
Somebody's got to do something about it, Dad.
Do something. I'll tell you what White Star did. White Star made jobs so that people could afford to live at Faircrest. Why, if we'd shut down the plant, there wouldn't have been anything left of Faircrest but the mortgages.
Well, that would have been terrible, dear. It's David.
Who is it?
It's me again, Mr. Clark, Gordon. Don't bother letting me in. Just wanted to report we received another phone call from your son.
Is anything wrong?
Oh, no, sir. He just wanted me to tell you that he's bringing his daughter along.
Oh, I knew he would. I just knew it.
Thank you, Gordon.
I haven't held a child since... I can't remember.
Maybe it's his way, at last, of saying that we can forgive one another.
He was wrong, wasn't he?
Well, they used him. He thought that, well, they must have persuaded him that he was doing the right thing, but...
David, we need your help.
Specifically how?
Ringing doorbells, talking to citizens groups, lighting fires into politicians.
The fact that I'm employed by White Star and my father's the chief executive officer doesn't really have that...
Well, hello, Nancy.
Hello.
Nancy, I'd like you to meet David Clark. Nancy
David?
Ward.
Pleased to meet you.
Nice
Sit
to meet
down.
Excuse me.
Nancy heads up our women's committee.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Nancy, I saw you a couple of days ago. You were at the Decoy bookstore, and you were asking Mrs. Grimm about a book called Malabar Farm, right?
That is right. But they didn't have it.
I know. I've got a copy, though.
Well, why didn't you tell me?
Well, you didn't ask me. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you my copy if you give me your address.
Well, if you're sure it's no trouble.
No, it's no trouble. It's a painful book to read, though.
Oh? Why? Is it very bitter?
No, it's sad. The way he describes the skies and the lake and the meadow before the blight. It's kind of like his youth. It's gone forever.
And that's exactly what we're talking about, David. It doesn't have to be gone forever. David, let's be honest with each other. Of course, we want you because your father is top executive of White Star. But aside from that, you'd be very helpful to us. You'd be a lever to use against the Public Utilities Commission.
Well, at least we're not being devious about it.
David, there's no time for games. This thing is a bomb, and it's been ticking for a long time.
You're being a little melodramatic, aren't you?
Melodramatic? How can you be melodramatic about food and water and air? We're breathing it right now.
You all right? Here. Come on. Drink some water.
Oh, I'm sorry. The doctor said I should move away from the city. But it appears that the city has followed me out here to Faircrest.
I'm your boy.
Well, you can't put your name on their letterhead.
Why? It's my name as well as it is yours.
Aside from making me look like a fool, a son lobbying against his own father, it takes this out of the issue of politics and makes something ugly and personal out of it.
That's the level I'm trying to reach you on. Personal. Human persons being threatened, abused, endangered.
Oh, come on, Dave. Don't give me that. Did you see these new premiums? We're hopeful that the kids will urge their parents to use White Star lubricants. What do you think?
Wow. What a symbol. And that's exactly what's going to happen to us. Extinction, Dad. We're going to die just like these things.
You really think that?
You breathe, don't you? You got eyes, you got ears.
I know that there are problems with the environment. There always have been. That's part of the price of progress.
You call poisoning the environment progress?
Look, Dave, let me give you a few facts of life. Now, I don't own White Star. I just run it. It's my job to make a good product and try to make a profit selling it. These days, we've been shaving that pretty thin. But I do pay top wages. We're in the lead on retirement, all the other fringe benefits. That's one reason we've never had a strike. Now, I am proud of that, Dave. I take care of the people who work for this company.
And a happy labor relations makes a happy balance sheet, right?
What precisely is it that you would like me to do?
You really want to know?
Yes.
All right, for a start, begin a crash program. Find a substitute source of power. Close down if you have to. Wait till your labs can find some way to control the waste.
Would you say that conversion to low-sulfur coal would be a good first step?
Yeah, a big step.
Uh-huh. Well, we're ahead of you on that. We've already started research on it. I think we can get some tax breaks from the government so that we can speed up our depreciation of our present equipment and phase over to low-sulfur coal inside the next 10 years.
10 years.
Well, what is it exactly that you want? Okay, go ahead. Point a finger at White Star. It's a big company. Everybody can see it, take pot shots in perfect safety. If I did what you suggested, assuming I wasn't fired on the spot, there would be no White Star. No profits, no company. No company, no jobs.
And if you don't make an all-out effort, there aren't going to be any people to live in Faircrest, to work, or even to buy your product.
You're wrong, Dave. You've lost your perspective.
Well, it's better than losing lives. I'm going to fight you, Dad.
I've had to fight before, son, otherwise I wouldn't be in this office. And I can be pretty tough in the ring. Well, what do you think?
Left hand's a little too low. Good campaign, Ed. Very good. Oh, I see. You're trying to stress the inner, invisible function of lubricants. People can see concrete, bricks, lumber, but they can't see oil at work. You're saying that it's literally the black blood of our economy.
Right.
Now, I suggest that we run this in our Sunday edition for at least 3 months. Naturally, I consulted with your ad boys. All I need is the final go-ahead from you.
Forget it, Mr. Dickinson. That ad is not going to run in your Sunday edition.
I beg your pardon?
I said forget the whole campaign.
I don't understand. White Star's been advertising in the Daily Outlook for decades. Our new circulation figures certainly justified the rates. You can't match our cost per thousand anywhere.
I may have to cut back drastically, beginning with advertising.
You've got to be kidding. White Star's in great financial shape.
As of today, yes. But if the Utilities Commission, which, by the way, your paper treats as if they were divinely inspired prophets. If they insist on some harebrained immediate changeover in power supply, the cost could break us.
I see.
But if we could test it, phase it out over a period of time, then maybe we can handle it. However, the commission in your editorial office wants this all done yesterday.
Mr. Clark, the advertising department has no effect on the editorial viewpoint of the paper.
I know that. After all, White Star has been around since the Outlook was a throwaway.
Is this final?
No, not yet. But what else can we do? We can't sell our products at a loss.
No, of course not. Well, thanks for letting me know.
Well, I felt I owed you a personal explanation.
Thanks.
Ed, I'm sorry I'm late. One of those days.
The ever-burdened commission.
Yeah.
How about a drink, Doctor?
No, thank you. We're going to the theater tonight, and I need a fairly clear head.
I'm afraid I haven't got the patience for your job, John. I don't know how you stand that constant pounding from citizens, pressure groups, the press, special interests, well, like White Star.
Well, one develops a certain tolerance for pressures, even abuse. But I must say that I am surprised at the Daily Outlook.
Yes, they used to be solidly behind you.
Yeah.
Crusades do sell papers, but, of course, so does responsible journalism.
What's on your mind, Ed?
I want your commission to close us down, please.
The whole plant?
Everything.
It's a very serious step.
Yes, it is. But we are in violation of the commission's guidelines. We cannot convert overnight. It is going to take years.
I know that you've thought this through, but closing White Star may cause more serious dislocations to the community than you've imagined.
I'm tired of being the heavy in this production, John. Now, White Star built this community economically. Now we're accused of destroying it. So, I say do your job. Shut us down. Let's see how the community gets along without us for a change.
We look for things no longer there. The things we find just can't compare.
Yes, violets. My, they're beautiful.
Well, I made them last week, even before I knew that Amy was coming. That was a good luck sign. Ed, what do you think is holding them up?
No. Remember, she's a child. There's no transportation where they come from. They'll be walking.
Do you suppose that Amy's ever seen real fruits and vegetables? No, I mean oranges and apples and tomatoes, fresh things.
No. They don't grow in unplanned areas. They don't have a system of hydroponics the way we do.
Yes, I'll take them to the greenhouses tomorrow. Oh, and let's put on the bird and cricket tapes.
All right.
Everyone talked and no one listened.
I don't believe that any introductions are necessary unless possibly there are some of you here who do not know Mr. Ames, our chief counsel at White Star.
How do you do? Yes, sir.
And with that, Mr. Rizzo, I don't see why you shouldn't plunge right in.
All right. I've invited you here this afternoon to this informal meeting to settle, I suppose compromise might be a more suitable word, a growing rift within this community.
This is not an official gathering, then.
That's right. Dr. Bradley and myself as chairman are the only members of the Utilities Commission here. You see, we felt that more of us might make it too tempting to talk to the media rather than to ourselves.
And for politicians to surrender a chance at a public hearing is like refusing a campaign donation.
But there is a proposal for some specific action.
Oh, yes.
Well, that is a hopeful sign, Mr. Rizzo.
Dr. Bradley, suppose we lay out just what has happened.
All right. I I have had several conferences with Mr. Clark and later with Mr. Ames, and they, I must admit, suggested the meetings.
Trying to forestall action from the Utilities Commission.
No, sir, I suppose you might think that, but actually it's my version of the Boy Scout motto. It's easier to prevent a lawsuit than to win one.
I'm very happy to tell you that Mr. Rizzo and I are submitting this proposal to the commission with our endorsement, and I hope that all of you will include yours.
Well, we'd certainly like to hear it, Dr. Bradley.
Right. Ed, would you like to carry the ball?
Why not? After all, White Star's the one that's going to have to live with it.
We all have to live with it, Mr. Clark.
White Star is gravely concerned with the problems of ecology. We decry the impact of environmental pollution everywhere. The individual burning trash in his backyard, littering the roads and the fields. The automobiles regurgitating smog and the jets trailing noxious gases as well as sonic booms. The dead lakes and the rotting forests and the rivers.
Mr. Clark,
beyond...
I thought we were here about poisoned air in Faircrest.
Yes, that's quite true. But that's only a small part of an overwhelming problem. It does not begin and end in Faircrest.
But that is our prime target.
And we are definitely going to do something about it. Now, I know that there are a great many of you who are getting impatient. Well, I'm impatient, too. I want to get the ball rolling. I see no reason to read out all the beginning of this. Let me just get right down to what we hope to do. As you all know, White Star has a proud record of responsible and forward-looking regard for this community. We intend to be the leaders in the fight against pollution, too. So we're committing ourselves, and here is how. White Star, today, begins the conversion of its entire facility to low-sulfur fuel. We pledge a completed phasing over within the next 5 years. And we invite the cooperation of every concerned individual to join us in this fight.
Congratulations, Ed. I consider this a very responsible move for White Star.
I think we've gotten this off the ground.
We've been had. Mr. Dickinson, not more than 2 weeks ago, your newspaper carried an editorial. It was headed, "Stop Passing the Buck."
But I think this is a fine step forward.
It's words. It's a stall. It's a put-up job, and you all know it.
Martin, it may not be everything you wanted, but at least it's something we can all live with.
Maybe you can live with it. But in 5 years, Faircrest will die with it.
Mr. Martin, this will work. Now, look, we're concerned here with practical realities, not idealistic dreams.
Come on, Nancy.
But don't let him go. Stop him.
Martin, just a second. Look,
Let's not be too hasty. Can't you be considerate?
I told you I'd be pretty tough in the ring.
I don't understand you. You're not a stupid man. You have morals.
What has morality got to do with it?
Everything. This is a moral issue.
It would be immoral of me to ignore my responsibilities to the stockholders.
What about your responsibilities to the human race?
I am not the president of the human race. I am the president of White Star.
And the rest be damned, huh?
My brother's keeper?
Your brother's brother.
Come on, Dave. I've never ignored humanity or my responsibilities, but I refuse to be made responsible for the whole wide world.
The point is your company affects a lot more people than just customers and employees. You live in a community, not a vacuum.
If you're right, and I think you're as fuzzy as a caterpillar on this, but if you're right, why should I be the one to put my head on the block? Why should I be the first one, maybe the only one?
It's gotta be someone, and that someone always turns out to be yourself.
Oh, you can talk. You don't have to pay the price.
There's always a price. What's the sense in talking about it? I'm gonna go to those places that you made unfit to live, and I'm gonna live there, I'm gonna work, and I'm gonna fight.
Those people were with me this afternoon. You have lost, Dave.
Lost? Well, what in the name of God do you think you've won?
Ed, I'm worried. Maybe they're not coming.
No, when David says he'll do something, he'll do it. It's just that there isn't much transportation where he's coming from.
Oh, poor David. Trying to be father and mother both.
I wonder who he got to take care of her this past year.
There won't be much company for a 6-year-old girl.
It all happened so fast. First the winds, you remember? And then the failure of the green things. Even our scientists couldn't understand it.
I'll take it to the greenhouses, yes. But then what? I know. I'll play the children's tapes for her.
Yes.
That's what I'll do.
Amy would like that.
There they are.
Who is it? Who is it?
It's David.
Oh, I've missed you so. I can't tell you how I've missed you, son.
Well, this calls for a celebration.
I prayed that you'd come. Where's Amy?
They wouldn't let me bring her up from the gate.
What?
They stopped her at the gate?
They said it was some kind of regulation.
Regulation? Ed Clark, are you going to stand there while my granddaughter's being held up at the gate?
They were firm about it.
What regulation were they talking about?
Amy's dead.
Dead?
It happened about a mile from here. She didn't get sick until 2 weeks ago. It wasn't her fault. It's just that little kids forget to wear the mask. If someone's not watching them, they forget to put it on.
Why didn't you leave right away?
I tried to get her here, but we didn't start soon enough.
She never played in grassy fields, was taken for a ride on a Ferris wheel. How many millions live the same? Can you tell me who's to blame? We all should have listened to the words they were saying. They told us, watch the flowers and the birds in the trees. We all should have noticed our time was fast escaping and our world would soon be coming. No place for you and me.
Insight is a production of the Paulist Fathers, a group of Catholic priests who serve their God by serving those outside their church.